ladies and gentlemen, and we put him to work. So after a few missed weeks, but we are debating today the way too early top NBA players return for the 21-22 season. Just the Bucks are coming off a championship win, and we're gonna give you our top five and why they should be, strong case holds for being best player next year. Number one, I got Giannis. Two, I got KD. Three, I got Kawhi the Claw. Four, I got Bron, and then five, I have Steph. The reason why I have Giannis at number one, well, we got to just look at Giannis from just a player development stance, man. Like he's been with the same team for 8 years, man, and he really stuck it out. The Bucks were getting ridiculed for just having the best regular season record for 2 years in a row and just getting bounced out first round, second round, not making it. And this year they finally took it to that final step, and he actually, did the whole thing. He completed his journey. Giannis is a young player, only 26. He's already a two-time regular season MVP, a defensive player of the year, a finals MVP. And that's something that only two players have ever done. That's him and Jordan have accomplished that in their career. And during the finals, he had 3 40-point games, and no one has done that since Shaq. And I think what really stepped up was in game 6 when he had his 17 from 18 from the line. And we know that he is a daggone liability at the free throw line, especially in the regular season. But I think he really just pulled it together. And, he, canceled out all the noise and all the haters, and he really pulled through. And he had an incredible postseason and finals. It was just magical to watch. Two, I'm going to go who is number two coming back, returning on this list, but at the end of the year will be the best player in the world, who has been the best player in the world since he won his first MVP in 2014. You already know who I'm going with right there, Ron. Mr. Durantula. now, right. Let us not forget when KD, right before KD got hurt, like the first I know you might laugh at this, but the first 15, 20 games of the season, KD was the MVP. Now he's coming off Achilles injury. And literally, we all know, like basketball-wise, Achilles injury is probably the worst one you could suffer. You could see after the 2012, after Kobe's Achilles injury, he was never the same. So people really were worried about KD, wondering, we were having analysts and reporters just saying, are we going to get the same guy? He might be 70% as good as he was. And it really didn't affect him at all. This might be the best version of KD that we've ever seen, even the 2014 MVP year. And he averaged his career average this year. He only played 35 games, averaged 27. He in the playoffs, he averaged 34. And then the biggest thing about KD was like the not the Eastern Conference, but the semis right before Eastern Conference against Milwaukee. He had a phenomenal stretch. I'm talking about especially that game when he dropped 49 to come all the way back, and they were down by like 20, 25 like that. And in the game 7 when he had 48, he had to literally play all 53 minutes in game 7 for them to have a chance. And if if he didn't have them clown feet, the game would have been over.
You can't have it both ways, though.
They would have handled the Hawks, man. So KD, we all know what he's capable of. And I really think people who are not fan of KD has a lot of haters. A lot of people, including yourself. We know you want to. You don't have to lie to the people like that. I got Kawhi at 3. Yes, Mr. Kawhi the Claw. He averaged 25 a game, 88 from the free throw line. He notched another All-NBA first team. I think we look at Kawhi. I'm not going to put him at LeBron's level, but I'm saying, like, as a complete player, Kawhi is one of the best complete players in the league, meaning that he could score, he can play defense, he can rebound, he can do it all. And I'll go with the vet, Mr. LeBron James. First of all, let's congratulate LeBron James for being the first billionaire while playing in NBA history. That needs to be noted. That is major.
Big B's.
That is just for what LeBron does for the community with a school and what he speaks about injustices. It's phenomenal. We'll probably never see
Big philanthropist.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. We'll never see another player, like him, like representation wise. It's really phenomenal that he's able to do that. He's only 36 years old. So imagine when he's 50, he'll be multi-billionaire. So billion at 36, that's crazy. And at number 5, I got Steph. He led the league in scoring last year, averaged 33 a game. He was really handicapped, with Clay being out, and he really had to carry all the way to Golden State. And even though they they did they didn't get the AC, they got the play in, so it was the A, and they got knocked out by Memphis. But we'll get into that later to watch Steph is so low. And he did his thing with the 33 game shot. He almost had another 50, 40, and 90 year. He had 48 from the field, 42 from 3, 92 respectfully from the line. Steph did his thing, but Royals were crippled, but he finally saw what it felt like to really carry a team. And he didn't make it that far.
The top 5 here, I got some real nitty gritty of it, and I put it sort of here where you got 1A, you would have Giannis because he got the crown this year. He won the head-to-head as far as against KD and them. And
you can't have a 1A, man. It's 1 and 2, bro.
Nah, bro, it's 1A.
You can put a 1 and 2. There's no 1 and 1.
Just
1 and 2.
Nah, I mean, I think it's more. I think you could parse it better that way, where you could say like KD has legitimate. He played like he was the best player in basketball last year in the playoffs. I'll give it like that. I mean, that's the only reason. I'll give KD that respect to make it a 1A, 1B.
Okay.
At that level there, because like what we were seeing from him against Milwaukee and just the great defense you saw them play in the conference finals and the finals, you see he was just making it look too easy over whoever they was throwing at him, whether it's Tucker, Holiday, all those guys, like having Lopez and Giannis at the rim to get by. Like the Bucks had a solid defense, but as it turned out, KD was just making the game look super duper easy at certain points. And he bounced back from the Achilles injury, like you said, and it was different for him. Like I had kind of high expectations of him. Not that I didn't think he wasn't gonna be nothing, but just like he's still only 31 now, and it's not like he was the same age as Kobe and like some of the other guys who've had those injuries, because those injuries usually came later in careers than at his age. And so like I figured the jump shooter he was, and that not really being as dominant, like jumping leg, just like not really yamming on guys like that, like he was gonna figure it out. And he took enough time that he needed to, missing out all of last year and some of the time, like with all the bubble time off and not the delay. So I think he was gonna be ready for it. Coming back now for third place. I got two players tied at third. We got Brian and Kirk, because we saw the play-in game, man. Like it was a good game. Like the way LA and Warriors turned out. Like you saw, it was the two best, pretty much almost offensive player weapons in the league going at it. Not saying LeBron's better scorer than Kevin Durant, but just as a weapon, man, as far as maximizing teammates and such, and just being effective himself, scoring on the block, making some clutch threes and shooting and stuff. LeBron can still do that. Can manage the hell out of a game still. And he'll carry his team as far as just, he'll need some guys to hit shots, of course, like Lakers. They couldn't hit open shots against Phoenix, and just the games got out of hand to certain points. And like, they'll be right back next year. They'll make a couple moves here, and you'll see LeBron right back at the top of the MVP discussion, I believe, where he left off last year at that point. Because before he hurt his ankle, after God dive into his leg, he was pretty much at the top of the list, him and Jokic going at it, but it was leaning his way because he was building the momentum at that time. With AD out especially, he was still putting up all-NBA first-team level play, but now just the injuries caught up, and then just the team was out of sorts. Yeah. And then for the fifth spot, man, you can't disrespect the MVP from last season, man. Like, again, you can have Kawhi there, you can have, you can say Luka, other guys, but Jokic, one of the best, like, PER seasons of all time. He led Denver through an injury-riddled season when they had a deep playoff run last year with the short turnaround in the offseason.
PER since Shaq, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was just about, man, like he was just unstoppable from all levels, where it's block, mid-range, like being a point guard at 7 foot 250, like just he's a unique player, man. And I don't know, like Denver with him, they're always gonna have a shot of being like top 5 team in the West, have a shot at the finals when just their guys develop. Like,
are they gonna take it to the next? I'm not so hyped on Denver.
They're one defensive player away from getting to that next level, because that's all they really miss. I think like Gordon, he was a good pickup for them, but they needed like another game changer in like the backcourt or something. Somebody could strap up. But until then, you probably gonna have the Lakers back in there when they ever like the draft, and we see how some of these trades shake out. But we'll see, man. I think that's the 5 though, man. I think you gotta get you can't put Kawhi ahead of LeBron first off, because
Yes, you can,
that's
right?
like
Stage is true.
Kawhi is
Yes,
really
you can.
good, but he's not on that level, bro. He's
Oh
not on
my
that level.
God.
We saw that head to
I'm gonna
head,
tell you
man.
one
Like,
thing. What's wrong with your list is that you don't have Kawhi at all on yours. What the
and
hell is wrong with
he's
you?
not playing next year too.
What?
But he's not playing next year though. He had the ACL tear, so he take his time with his injuries and stuff because like he got chronic knee thing. So hey, I can't put him on the top 5 heading into next season. He ain't gonna be playing next season. That too, but like even then, if he was like those 5, 6, 7 like spots right there, like the 3 guys you're looking for, him, Luka, and Jokic. I get he's a better defender than both of those guys, but is he more effective offensively? I don't know. Because
Can
the
be.
play that Luka has to do,
Uh,
what Luka has to do on a night in, night out basis, you can make an argument over him. And you saw those 40 and 50-point games he's putting on in the playoffs too. And so I think that alone, like even the head-to-head matchup, Kawhi won. He also had Paul George on his team. And Porzingis was nowhere to be found, but Luka, he was still he held him out to 7 games, and he almost got him out of there. Mm-hmm. So I think you got a case where Luka would be considered before him, like right after Jokic, maybe in the top 5. But I don't know, man. Like, because Luka, he looked like he could mess around with MVP
on
next
my
season.
bubble. I like that, but here's another thing. Number one, you don't have Kawhi on there, and number two, I think you have LeBron and Steph tied at 3 or something. Mm-hmm. That order is wrong. Steph is 5 right now, and I got LeBron at 4, and the reason is because Steph showed when his back against the wall. This season was his year to prove how good are you really, Steph. And him and KD both low-key had the same criticism because you think about it. They both had to carry their teams. Now, during the regular season, Steph didn't have, play the whole year. So Golden State should have.
Yeah, Draymond scared to shoot this year, passing up wide open layups, kicking out and stuff. He was doing that annoying pickup thing right there. Like, I don't know what happened, got into Draymond. Like, he lost a shot, but now you're not even shooting no more. Yeah. So he's basically playing 3-on-5, pretty much against 5 defenders, and he's still leading the league in scoring. Like, I think that has to be commended, has to be looked at as something too.
That's nothing but an excuse.
Yeah. I don't think there's no excuse. It's just those are the situations he was thriving out there. Like the stuff he was doing, those 50-point games, he was looking like Kobe in 06, man.
What were the Golden State record this year? 42. How many games did they win? Barely. Did they either barely crack 40 or they were right under it? You have to
use at 500.
And the other thing about it is
like Kobe in 06, like I was saying. Nah.
I don't even talk about no Kobe in 06. You talk about Kobe in 06.
Yeah, I got like Kobe in 06.
Right.
Curry's right there at 33.
We talking about that, Kobe? No, I don't want to hear about that. We can talk about Rob MVP seasons all day. But I'm not discrediting what Giannis did just based on his performance at all. But I'm thinking by the end of the year, KD's gonna be number 1 because if healthy, we know that Brooklyn would have. We know it was that series was over. First 2 games, go out by 30.
Yeah, I mean that's just feeling it out though. I mean, you can look at those 2 early games, but they still didn't go on the road yet. Playoff series don't start until a road team wins. So it took all the way up to Game 7 for that to happen in that series because it was just everybody defending their home court. And Giannis and them, they came to play like they took the first punch like they did against Phoenix, where they lost. They dropped the first 2 games there, and they came back and won 4 straight. Like that was the way the Bucks was playing all their postseason games, pretty much looked like. Except for Miami, Miami couldn't do nothing with them.
All right. So
I get you. Out of your top 5, who's taking home MVP next year?
MVP? This is based off health or
just right now in July?
I know.
We're gonna probably real approach.
I hate to say it, but Giannis looks like the clear-cut favorite if healthy because he's the most healthy. He's the youngest out of these guys. I mean, Jokic might be in the conversation again, but he's not in my top 5. But I can see what you mean right there. But the MVP is a young guy's award now. I feel like even LeBron, has been robbed many times because they're like, oh, LeBron, we can't give it to him every year. Let's give it to a new guy. We can go on and on of guys who should have won it.
I think you got Giannis.
Who do you have?
Next year for MVP out of my top 5, man, I'll probably go with LeBron. Got 1 more in him. We got 1 more virtuoso year.
I'm trying to get that. My question, my question for you is: out of everyone in your top 5, who has the most pressure?
Most pressure going in next season is probably Curry because the Warriors' clock is like right there. Like I think they window that they started with that team they built up since 2012, it's going on 10 years now with that core. So next year gonna be backs against the wall. Like they don't have to make that last run, and one of them might get traded, whether it be Draymond or something like that being the most likely. But we'll see. Like they got moves to make, and the front office there, they got delicate move to make because they still haven't chosen between building for the future and trying to be all in for the end of that core's run right here because they come to an end on that. So I think Curry got the most pressure to deliver.